Hi, I'm Gary Bauman from the Southeast Asia Travel Show, and I'm here to introduce this edition of Inspiring Women in Travel Asia, the IWTA series, with my guest today, Ayu Kristiana, who is the country manager of Indonesia for Discova, a global destination management firm. Ayu is lucky enough to be based in beautiful Bali. So, Ayu, thank you very much for joining me today. How are you doing, and how is life in
Hi.
beautiful Bali?
Yeah, hi Gary. Thank you for having me in this interview session. Yep, I'm based in Bali. So I'm so grateful to be in Bali because many people wants to come to Bali, but I'm so lucky to live in Bali. So for me, Bali is not only my hometown. It's not only my it's also my life because I really enjoy living in Bali.
And so before we start, you were just telling me that travel is developing, tourism is starting to come back.
Yep,
What's the current
right.
situation?
So yeah, we had a meeting. We have a regular meeting with the airport authority. So last week they just updating us that the demand for Bali is now increasing. So we have now like 22 international flights coming to Bali. Before COVID, we have more than 40 flights. So hopefully in September, we are seeing Chinese coming to Bali because at the moment, Chinese is still being in lockdown. So only Australian, Indian, number two at the moment. And then we also have some other countries in Europe.
Interesting. So there's plenty for us to talk about. But before we
Yeah.
start that, Ayu, let's talk about your own passion for travel and how working in the travel industry enables you to share that passion with other people. What does travel actually mean to you?
So yeah, I'm really passionate about travel. So when I was kid, it is my dream work to be working in travel industry. So that's why if you see my background before that, I went to the vocational school and I studied for travel and tourism. And then I was lucky to have the job right away in travel industry as well, and in various position as well, from the travel consultant and then reservation and then to sales, and then now I got the promotion to be the country manager. So my role is overseeing all the operational in Indonesia, especially in Bali. We have only Bali at the moment for Discova Indonesia. So yeah, travel for me means like uh, enriching my knowledge about the culture. So I'm so passionate about studying all the culture around the world. So beside meeting a new people, but the most important thing is also how the people live in different areas, like how it is implement our daily life. How can we adapt it into our life. So for example, like maybe for nature, we have it will be the same. They have like mountain beaches, but also the most interesting for me is how the people living in different area, and how culture is involving into their daily life.
So let's bring it back for a moment to Bali. As you mentioned, Bali is your home, Bali is your life. Bali is a very special place.
Yeah.
Travelers from around the world fall in love with Bali all the time. But to you, it is
Yep.
home. What does
Yep.
Bali mean to you?
Yeah, Bali means everything to me because like yeah, well, well, Bali is not the reason why many travelers come to Bali, because like even though they already have been traveling to Bali, they always want to come back. I mean, like, because the people, I mean, like, it's a different when you're traveling to some countries, maybe you don't have any vibes the that you cannot get in another area, but you can get it in Bali. So the warm people, and then Bali is also like is we are following the trends as well. We are not only focus on one things, but also what is the world now doing. Bali is also following that trend. So that's why like Bali is now they have, it's not only beaches and mountain, not only the nature, but also the culture, the people also, the warm welcome of the people, that you always want to come back to Bali.
Mhm. So it's your job to showcase the very best of Bali to your travelers from around the world. What are some of the frequent questions that you get asked about Bali by your clients?
Well, it's a funny question. Like some of them they know where's Bali, but maybe not Indonesia because they don't know where's part of Bali. It's like, oh, have you been to Bali? Yes, but then what about Indonesia? The different island of Indonesia, and then they said like, oh, they're close together. No, it's Bali is actually belong to Indonesia. So Bali, what I become a Bali is become a famous because it's beyond on Indonesia. They know Bali, but sometimes they don't know Indonesia.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
it's excited.
And so we can't really talk about travel and tourism at the moment without looking back and reflecting on the past 2 years, which have been very very difficult for Bali. There wasn't any travel and tourism for about
Yeah,
2 years. You started to welcome tourists back again, I think in March this year.
in March. Yeah.
How has tourism changed on the island, and is the buzz coming back?
Yeah, so as I said before, we still on 60% before COVID at the moment. So it's not really crowded at the moment, but it's getting start. We've been confirmed that the G20 will be in Bali, some of the event. So in October, Bali will be crowd of many diplomatic tourists and also leisure tourists. So it will be buzz.
Mhm.
September, October, and because now I think there is also some pre-meeting before the G20 start coming. Yeah, we see more traffics now in any area in Bali because yeah.
So the
Getting
G20
busy.
will focus on two aspects. Like I mean, business tourist meetings and events. You know, that really puts Bali on
Yep.
an international map. But also the side of that is there'll be leisure tourism as well. People taking trips on the side. So is that one of the things that everybody's hoping that G20 gives a lift for both leisure and also for business tourism?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Good. So I read that one of your favorite experiences in Bali, and we were talking about this just before we came on
Yeah.
the show, is spending time in Mengus, enjoying a short escape, living in the countryside. Come on, tell us more.
Okay, so during the pandemic, so Discova Indonesia has been dream to have like a community project. So how we can help the community who really needs our helps in especially for tourism. So in 2021, I think this is the best time for us because it was COVID. There is no activity because we don't have any client to serve on the ground. So we're really focusing on how we achieve this dream because this dream is sit with us like 3 years ago. We've been thinking about this, but we never action it on this. So this is a best time. So last year we start with Mengus. So we have some of the project there. Like helping the community based on agriculture. So in line with tourism as well. So they we help some of the farmers there to start up the organic rice. And then we fund all the project, including the workshop, how the farmers now switch into chemical into the fertilizer, the organic fertilizer, how to make the fertilizer from the organic things. And then we also have we also did some survey and how we gonna achieve that project. So this is like this already been like a year project for now. And then from start from 2 and 3 hectares land now become 9 hectares. And then in the future we want to set up our own activity there. So we work with some of the suppliers here for trekking, farming, and cycling. But then we are now thinking how we can move all that activities in the central of Bali to the eastern part of Bali. So Mengus is located in the eastern part of Bali. Eastern part of Bali is always like the empty village because most of the people like coming to the south, they're finding job in the south area, and they leave their hometown in there because there is nothing to do. So now we want to make sure that the young generation stay there, and then they are doing all their activities there. So starting with how we going to move our activities that we're doing in Ubud, for example, like cycling or trekking, we move to Manggis. So now we are training all the people there, because it's really, they don't have any background of tourism. So it's like a long project for us. We already started with the one they like, which is farming. So this is but we only change the method into the organic things, because we want to create like should be a sustainable way of living for them. And it from switching from using the chemical to the organic fertilizer, it's a lot of cost. So that's why we agreed to fund all the projects in the beginning, and now they already see the results, and that's very positive feedback from all the surrounding. It's not only the villagers but also the local government. They came there and support us. We also now already get the certification of the organic rice in Manggis, and then we also now cooperate with some of the hotels now to distribute all the rices. So so really like channeling all the opportunity for the villagers in Manggis to all the tourism industries.
That's a fascinating project. And for you personally, what's your involvement? How much time are you spending there?
Oh, in the beginning, I always came to Manggis like 2 or 3 times a week, because we need to be there. We need to talk to the villagers, because we are strangers. Just like if we don't really close with them, and then we are now like talking that this is what we're going to do blah 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 blah, and then they will not believe us. But then we try another approach, because I'm also lucky, I'm also Balinese, I speak that language, so we communicate with them we're using the language. So but in the beginning, we want them to see this is the benefits that you will have, because they don't have really background of tourism. So in the beginning, because we want to show them, we are really want to develop the villagers, because for example, we in the beginning, and at the first time we only work with the main organization, but then they see the growing of the rice, and then this is also a question for another organization, which is women organization. They're asking what we can support to help them. So we talk to them like, what is your skills? So what do you want to do? So let's us help you with that. And then some of them like, oh, we want to have this, but then we narrow down the list. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. So at the moment, we have 26 women now into the organization. They're really active and involving on all the activities that we already arranged for the women. So they also have their own garden, organic garden. So this will be a supply. They will also supply to the hotels if it is big enough to develop the garden, because at the moment we only talk to 1 or 2 hotels. We want to have the list, what actually in your kitchen, what is the necessary, like what is the daily vegetables or spice that you normally order. So we show them to the woman, this is the list from the hotels. Are you able to grow into your in your garden? And then they start trying now, like a tomato, they have a cucumber, they have a eggplant. So we are now like channeling this also to the hotels. It's still in a small portion, is because they only have like 5 hours. It's not much at the moment, but also and then the more then we talk about this project, the more people interested. So we also have a donation from the woman from Australia. They give us like amount like 230 Australian dollar. So we talk to all the community, what this is the fund that we have, so what do you want to do with this fund? Because we don't want to just to give the money, but how we going to make something about the money, so investment. So the main organization, they wants to have goats because it is necessary for the fertilizer, and then the woman because they are doing the cooking oil from the coconut, so they want to have the machine who can really fasten their works in producing that coconut oil. So we talk with all of them, and then we make a budget. This is what we are going to purchase, 9 goats, and then the coconut oil making. So now they have starting the project. This is continuing. They also produce daily like virgin coconut oil and also cooking oil. And then what we are following up workshop is how to sell that products. It's not only in your organization, but also outside organization. So we also give them like a short course for marketing. So that's kind of.
And so you mentioned how you can help the local communities, how they can link with hotels so they can sell their produce. What about tourists? Are there any ways that tourists will be able to interact with them in future?
Yes, because like I said before, we are starting doing all the activity in this village. At the moment, there is another project that we want to build. It's like a hub. So we want to have like a starting and finish point where the activities will be start in this area and then finish in this area. So from, for example, like trekking, so they will visit like the garden, the farms, and then also the cooking oil. So the customer also can interact it with the local. They also can have a fun with the local. So from that stop points, we also would like to help them to generate more income, because like if, for example, if we put some donation on the spot, like for example, like one person $1 donation, something like that. So it's helped them to continuing their business. So this can be like for example, if they want to have more seeds, they can use that money to buy another seeds and to expand also their gardens.
It's a fascinating project. Really wish you well with that in future. It's great that you can bring together not just community and tourists, but also the hotel industry as well. That's really, really interesting angle. So let's talk a little bit more about you, Ayu. I asked you at the beginning about your passion for travel, and you mentioned your career path. Now, you studied for a diploma in tourism and travel service management in Denpasar, there in Bali.
Yes.
Was travel always the career path that you wanted to take?
Yes. So because like I live in Bali once again, and all of my family, like they work for tourism industry. So from my auntie, my uncle, they are tour guide, they are working in travel agent. So they're really inspiring me. So I want to become like them. That's where when I was kid, I always see that it's really fun works, I think, because they can meet many people, they can talk with many people in different countries, and then they can make a friend with many people in different countries. So that's why like this is something that I always set in my mind, that I want to be a tour guide. But then after that, I changed again my mind, or maybe not tour guide, maybe a travel consultant, because I found that it's really interesting to make an itinerary for someone, and then if that person is really satisfying with what is your recommendation, it's like a great achievement for me.
So that leads nicely into my next question. You started your career as a travel consultant at the ICS Travel
Yeah.
Group. What elements about customer service did you learn from that role?
So yeah, the the thing that I like because is you have like a personal touch with the clients, the customer. When the customer call you and or chat you or email you, so we have like all the correspondence with them. So, and then when we suggesting their itinerary, they give the feedback. It's like it feels like, oh, I know this clients want this kind of itinerary if they are looking for adventurous trip or if they're only looking for the culture trip. So this is also like really a lesson for me because uh, if they put some what they can be interested for them, it's a good for me to create the itinerary for them. And then when you get the feedback from them, then oh, this is may not good, this is can you add this is so this is also a good for me to learn again, like oh, maybe this is if they can have a specific, for example, oh, can I have more adventurous trip? Maybe it's not adventure enough for them, but what can we put more? And then, so this is like a personal touch that I really like it. And then until now, I think I still have a couple who really in touch with me since 18 years ago. They still send me like a Christmas card or a yeah, New Year card. So we still engage until now. So it's really fantastic for me.
That's great to make those long-term connections. And so
Yeah.
after that role, you became a contracting manager at Buffalo Tours, a
Yep.
slightly different role. What kind of challenges did that present for you?
So yeah, so before Discover, we are Buffalo Tours. So so Buffalo Tours, when we start the Buffalo Tours, it's a really startup company. So this is a really challenging for me because I never been in startup company. So without knowing what we are going, what we're gonna happen in the future. So I just jump into that position because at that time, they need a contracting person to contract all the suppliers. And then this is also a good learn for me because when we introduce our new company, it's when hotels or suppliers that didn't know us really well, because like we start introduce, hi, my name is Ayu from Buffalo Cruise, can we have a cooperation in the future? And then they will ask me like, Buffalo Cruise, never heard before. So it's like, oh, okay, this is like a great challenge for me. So yeah, and then after settle up, after get all the contract, because we start receiving our first customer at that time is April. So I joined the company in January. I prepare all the contracts. I loaded all the contracts, and then April we run with our clients. So that is interesting.
And so you mentioned that you worked for Buffalo and now Discover for many years.
Yep.
Recently, as you said at the start, you were promoted to the country manager. So what does that
Yep.
mean? What are your responsibilities right now?
So yeah, so my big responsible now is actually looking for the operational and also the people. It's make a difference because like when you lead one team, you only responsible into, for example, sales team. You only responsible on the sales and all your team to lead. But now it's a big pressure. I can say big pressure because now it's not only the sales, but also the people. How can we continue engagement, all the people? How can we grow the company together? It's not only you and me, but all together, because with Discover, people will be our main asset. So we want to have we want to continue to have a good engagement with our people, but then also satisfying our customer. So that's more to the people and also customers.
Mm-hmm. And so in those years that you worked for Discover before the pandemic, how was Bali changing? How were your clients changing up until the period of the pandemic?
Yeah, so it's really changing in terms of the customer as well, because now they really want to have like different activities, nature activities. Before maybe they were fine with the with whatever that we suggest, but now they're asking like, what can you what is your company offer differently before COVID? So we have to be creative now with Mengus project. We try to promote the clients. This is what we done during the pandemic, so we start continuing promoting Mengus to our customers.
And Bali is a big destination. It's a big island, but most of the tourism is based in the south. You mentioned that Mengus, and there are some resort towns on the east coast. Do you see that there will be more development across the whole island? Will tourism radiate into different parts of Bali?
Yeah, so it is like we start educating also the customer, because like they're still centralized in South and Ubud, for example, in central Bali. But now we are going to show them this is not only about Bali, is not only beaches, but also we have another activities in the village, like a community village that maybe interests you, that you can engage on, not only with the community, but also you can learn from them as well. So this is really, we want to focus on the future in the 1 or 2 years, coming 1 or 2 years.
And since the pandemic, tourists are coming back. Are they staying for longer? Are they staying for shorter? Are you notice any difference on that?
For the moment, 5 to 7 days. Yep, average 5 to 7 days.
Average
but
5 to 7.
Yeah. This is for Australian, but for European, they're still a week or 2 weeks.
Right. And what about the booking window? Has that changed? Is that getting shorter, or is that longer?
Yeah, shorter.
Shorter.
Because now with all the regulations, is we don't know what happened next. So we for June, for example, that we never we don't know that this June will be fantastic for us, because it's so crowded. We never thinking that this boost will be coming so soon. We thought that it will be slower, but then it's not for Australian market, because mostly our guests are Australian. So this is the numbers that we have in June is same as before pandemic for us.
That's great to hear. So we have a few minutes left. I've got a couple of questions I want to ask about you just before we leave. So as you look back across your career, what advice would you now give to a young Ayu studying for that diploma? What lessons have you learned along the way?
So I actually want to thank my younger version, because actually it's not easy for me to continue my study. I was my parents not having like a good economy background at that time. So I pushed myself to learn, to study, and then at the same time I also have a part-time job as well. So I really proud of myself, because I didn't stop at that time. So I keep pushing myself to continue study, even though like I work like from 8 to 6, and then I continue my study from 7 to 10. So during the day that I have a lot of tasks from my colleagues, and then but because I am also working, it's so difficult for me to adapt, because if I'm working, I cannot do my task, and then so sometimes I really want to quit, because I think that it's not worth it for me, because I already have the money that I get from by the way, I was working as a waitress at that time. So yeah, but I really want to continue my study, and then to get a stable job, which is like in travel agent, that like what I dreamed before.
It's a really inspiring story, Ayu. And just before we finish, I have one more question for you. We're into the second half of the year now. Travel and tourism is coming back. What are your hopes and aspirations for the rest of the year?
So if we are looking on the progress, it seems like a brighter. So like I said, we are going to have Chinese coming to Bali soon in September, and then that numbers we hope that can be back to normal as before COVID, because at the moment that is only 60% from the business that we are still running for Bali. So for Discova, we are lucky because most of our clients are Americans, are Australians, but then maybe for some of our competitors or our colleagues, they still have Europeans, they have Chinese, which is not come back yet. So we want to have like, hopefully we in the coming months, all the lockdown will be no longer available in the whole world, so we can free travel.
I think we will all agree with that. Fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you very, very much for speaking to me today. A great story. And we wish you the very best of luck with the Mengus project. That's a really fascinating
Thank you, Giri. Thank you.
All right. Speak to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.